Today I'm going to tell you about a story of a guy who's a little bitch. I'm going to stop pulling punches on some of you guys because you're just not getting the message, and I am going to keep on delivering this message because a lot of you guys, you don't want to step up and you don't want to become a man, and that's sad, but I'm going to give it to you straight. So I'm going to read an email from someone. I'm not going to say his name or anything like that. I won't call him out directly, but I am going to call him a little bitch on this video because that's what he's acting like. And a lot of you guys are acting like this as well. I want to help you guys. You guys got to put in the work, and you got to actually get rid of this victim mindset if you want to be successful in life and successful with women, right? So he said, "Hi, John, you probably don't care about what I have to say here. However, I thought about what you said in reply to a comment I made on one of your videos a while back, where you claimed that it's much easier to be a man in today's world simply because throughout history, men have had to fight and die. You have also said it's easier to be the quote alpha because most men aren't even trying." So this is true. I can't remember exactly what video it was, but let me reiterate this point, guys. It is an easier time to be a man than it has ever been historically. I know there's a lot of channels out there on YouTube, a lot of guys that want to tell you, oh, it's harder to be a man today. Look at the Tinder swipe experiment, all this stuff. And I get it. There is some difficulty in being a man. But back in the day, in order to be a man, like you had to go and fight in a war with a sword. People were coming to kill you. You had to go and kill or be killed. If you're a peasant guy, good luck. You can't make your way in the world. You can't become a high status G. You're not going to become an Andrew Tate of the peasant world. It's not possible. It was way, way more difficult. People died. There was a lot more work and circumstances that you had to go through in order to be a man. And to be like a top 1% man, you had to be basically born into it, or you had to work your ass off to an incredible degree and risk your life. This is not the case anymore, guys. So when you're complaining about Tinder, swiping and all this stuff, come on, give me a damn break. So let's read on and see what he says here. So he says here, maybe it's just because I live in the city, or perhaps I just don't pay attention to my environment, but I simply don't see what you mean by this. Let me tell you what I mean by this. Today, we live in a highly feminized society where feminism runs rampant. The political views of the world lean towards a feminist viewpoint of a victim mindset. In that world, guys believe in order to gain the approval of women, which is what they're seeking, they become these nice, passive guys that agree with all of these stupid liberal viewpoints of society and everything should be equal and all of this kind of bullcrap. They're not even men. So in that society, it is much easier to actually be a man because you literally have no competition. Some of you guys are concerned about the Chads and all this stuff. There's hardly any of them out there. Don't call another guy a Chad. That's like saying, oh, I'm not good enough. There's some guy that's superior genetics. That is bullshit. Do not think that way at all. In fact, a majority of the men out there are weak, pacifist, video game playing guys that have no social skills at all, have no ambition at all, that are not going to accomplish or do anything with their life, that have no masculinity, not a shred of it in them, and do not know how to stand up for themselves and only live their life to validate and please women and other people. They're super nice guys. So what I mean by this is that if you want to become a top 1% man, it's not hard to beat out 99 other guys who aren't even trying. Let's move on with the letter here. He says here, men are in general are far behind women in a vast majority of areas these days, myself included, because of the fact that the powers that be arranged society being anti-male in the late 20th century. So let's just address this point real quick. I don't care if men are behind women. First of all, that's bullshit. It's still a man's world. We all know this. It is still that. The problem is that men gave the world over to weak men. Men became weak and they said, you know what? Instead of actually being men and actually taking charge and actually taking leadership and actually taking care of and protecting and providing and doing the things that we should be doing, we are going to try and placate women and try to get their approval and validation instead of standing on our own principles and moving forward with life. And so because of that, we have surrendered the world to this weak victim mindset point of view, which does propagate society. And so in that respect, does it matter if it's easier for women today? No, it doesn't matter. Sure, it might be easier in some ways for women today. If you're young and you're an attractive woman, will your life be fairly easy by the world's standards? Of course. Whereas if you're a man, will it be hard? Yes, of course, but it's always been that way and it's designed to be that way. And being a man is dealing with the harshness and the hard realities of life. When you think about it, if we go back to the hunter-gatherer days. Was it easier to be a man or easier to be a woman? Again, we go back to those days. It was still harder to be a man. And in fact, it's harder than it is now because you had to go and hunt and kill the other tribesmen and the other tribes that are trying to kill you and protect. If you didn't do those things, you couldn't just play video games. You couldn't just be like, I'm checking out the system, guys. I'm going MGTOW or whatever kind of crap. You couldn't do any of that. You had to compete or you would die. So I don't care what you think about, is it easier to be a woman or is it harder for men today? I literally don't give a shit, and you shouldn't either. That's a victim mindset. Let's move on. He says here, ever since then, conditions for most men have gotten far much worse. There is no stability. You say we shouldn't want that, but you're quite frankly wrong. No family structure, no order where men can be men, merely live life anymore. This is completely untrue. You have to create this for yourself. If you're a strong masculine man, I'll tell you what, you can take one of those women that is in this world of feminist society and she will follow your lead. She will adapt to you, because why have women taken up masculine roles in society? Is it because it's some orchestrated thing by some conspiracy theorists? No, it's because men have become weak and therefore women have become men. What's happening is that men are being weak, just like Stefan Arnio said, rest in peace, in his book, Hard Times. That's exactly what happened. Weak men created the problem. So you can't solve the problem by continuing to be a weak man and whining about things. If you're a strong man, if you're a strong masculine man, I guarantee you that women will follow your lead and that they will become more feminine around you, because that is how it works. So stop saying you can't have this, you can't have a family, you can't have this. You have to demand that. You have to have a standard. You have to say, this is my standards as a man. But in order to have high standards and to demand that other people conform to your standards, it means that you have to be of high value. That means you have to work on yourself and build yourself. If you're a guy who makes a lot of money because you're successful, because you've built businesses, or you don't even have to make a lot of money, but you're a hard worker and you provide and protect. If you're a guy who has worked on his physique, who's worked on his social skills, who has built himself up, who's worked on his knowledge and grounded in his masculinity, you will be a high value man, especially if you know how to treat a woman in a relationship, how to treat her like a woman and make her feel special and do all those things while still having a backbone. If you can do that, then you can set a high standard and people will comply to that standard. By the way, quick commercial break here. If you're not a high value man yet and you want to become one and become financially free, click the link down below, join us, book a call, 15-minute call, and I will make you into a financially free man. I'll teach you how to do that very important element of your life. Now, let's move on to the next thing that he says here. So he says, although I may or may not achieve financial success in life, I know for certain that I will never have a long-lasting relationship or have children. I'm coming to accept this slowly, but it is sad and tragic that I was born a male in today's world. First of all, why do you even think that? So what does he say? I may or may not be able to achieve financial success in life. First of all, who is stopping you from achieving financial success in life? That's on you, buddy. Again, if you wrote this email, book a call below. So let's jump on a call and let's get you financially free, because it's a very simple formula. It's not easy. It's hard, like everything as a man, but it's simple. We could do that. But I really want to know, why do you think you're not going to have a long-lasting relationship or have children? You could certainly do that. There is nothing stopping you except for this victim mindset that is in your head, with a lot of your guys' head, guys. Stop this bullshit. Now, this is where it gets really the worst. As he says here, I am coming to accept this slowly, but it's sad and tragic that I was born a male in today's world. If I could be transgender, I would be, but I don't like men. It's hard out there with jobs, dating, and obtaining a good life. Prove me wrong, you cannot. You want to be transgender, but you don't like men? What the hell is wrong with you, man? The problem is not society. The problem is not everyone else. It's you. Again, I'm not trying to be overly mean here, but you need a good kick in the ass. You need a good slap in the face. You're acting like a bitch. I'm going to treat you like a bitch. The only remedy, prescription to the malady that you have, which is bitchness. You have a severe case of being a little whiny bitch. And this is the cure for it. You have to take this medicine and you need to swallow it. Don't ever say you wish you were transgenders, but you don't like men. That is the weakest position that you could possibly come across. Instead, this is what I want you to say, guys. I want you to say, I am going to be the fucking best. I am going to be the Chad. I am going to be the top alpha male dog. I am going to work myself and become the top man that I can be. And it doesn't matter whether you succeed in life. It doesn't matter whether you succeed by other people's standards. It only matters at the end of the day whether you have done what you could do or not. If the video struck a chord with you, the video you should watch next is the top 10 ways that you make women think you are weak. Watch that video next and let me know what your thoughts are.